Mr. President, Madam Ramaphosa, Prime Minister Modi, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Raghavan, thank you for including me in this extraordinary event, and I have to commend President Ramaphosa for this wonderful lecture that we were honored to hear. Today, we are all here to honor Gandhi and Mandela, and my mind is inevitably drawn to how India, Brazil, and South Africa, three dazzling singular countries, come to share so much in our values, in the plight of our history, and how natural it is for us to work together on the international stage, united by IBSA. Gandhi and Mandela are revered as champions in the struggle for freedom. They stood out, as wonderfully described by the President, for their courage and originality in facing evils of colonialism and racism with the message of conciliation, nonviolence, acceptance of differences, and peace. In Brazil, Gandhi and Mandela inspired the admiration of people of all backgrounds. And this is so, I believe, because we find and we recognize so much of our own ideals resonating with their messages. They are inspirations to all of us Brazilians. Like India and South Africa, Brazil had to rise from colonial rule and had to face the legacy of poverty, slavery, exploitation of native populations, and many other forms of injustice that colonialism left behind. And like India and South Africa, we chose to tread the path of peace. Brazil, it is said, is a child of diplomacy. In spite of our size and sharing borders with 10 other countries, we succeeded in stimulating negotiated outcomes. This has shaped our culture throughout history and established the confidence of the Brazilian people in diplomacy. Our nations find common ground, furthermore, in the vibrancy of our democracies. The strength of our institutions has allowed us to find novel, objective, and national solutions to our challenges. Brazil, after difficult years of political, economic, and moral crisis, has given President Bolsonaro a clear mandate to bring about a new moment for our country. President Ramaphosa, you met President Bolsonaro yesterday in Davos, since this year that India chairs IBSA, Brazil is chairing BRICS, President Bolsonaro is looking forward to welcome both of you, Prime Minister and President, in Brasilia at the end of the year. 15 years ago, the creation of IBSA provided a unique platform for our countries to find a common voice. IBSA brought together three dynamic, multi-ethnic, and multicultural democracies, three emerging economies seeking to play a larger role in world affairs. One from each of the three continents that were almost completely under colonial rule. But now we are in the 21st century, and many of the best solutions for the problems that the world faces are developed in our countries. Our nations embraced our cultural diversity and know that our complexities and contradictions can become great strengths. We have, in fact, anticipated in our countries many of the central debates of the contemporary world. When we picture Gandhi and Mandela in our minds, we always remember them with a smile on their faces. By the way, here it is. I will now mention something that may a bit surprising, but is certainly very symbolic of our three continents. We have in common, our three countries, that we face very often with a smile, with optimism, many of the adversities and challenges that we have. When Gandhi died, a community of laborers in the city of Salvador in Bahia, descendants of African slaves, christened themselves the Sons of Gandhi. They mourned the Mahatma, but they too knew how to disarm their sorrows with a smile. Every year since, the Sons of Gandhi have paraded on the streets of Salvador Carnival, dressed in the likeness of the Mahatma, performing music and dances originated in Africa, uniting people of all races to bring a message of peace during Carnival. They are Brazilians, proud of our country's African roots and inspired by the Mahatma's example. Our natural confluence in multilateral fora about the many of the most pressing international issues today pays testimony to the strength of IBSA and how much we are yet to achieve working together. Because to this day, indignation at the unjust and the unjustifiable, which is the greatest force of historical progress, as they proved, has in democracy the best vehicle to influence reality. The leadership and coordination of our three countries towards sustainable development, as you mentioned, Mr. President, be it at the Conference of Johannesburg, Rio, or Hyderabad, I think would certainly please both Gandhi and Mandela. And I must here finish by expressing my gratitude to the Indian chairmanship of IBSA on its ongoing efforts to raise this forum to its real and full potential. Thank you very much.
All the guests are requested to kindly remain seated till the departure of high dignitaries and the delegation. I would now like to invite all our guests